amazing how much dust accumulates when you haven't sat in an area for over a month. But anyway, welcome. This is the pickups for February and March 2025. I decided to take kind of a break on February because it was my birthday month, and I was also kind of not focused on video games during that month. I pivoted away, and I ended up more focusing on the new Gundam trading card game that came out. My local card store, actually in February, towards the end of the month, got in the beta boxes. So I was lucky enough to get in. They only had like 16 spots open. 4 people didn't show up. I was on the wait list, and there was 3 other people beside myself that was on the wait list, and all 4 of us got in. So you can kind of see the box behind me here. I'm not really going to show that in this video, just simply because they are beta cards. The official release for them is going to be sometime in July. So I'll be probably pivoting towards that because it's been a long time since I've really gotten into a trading card game to play. Some of you may have seen like my Way Schwartz Guilty Gear cards, or the other ones that I've picked up, the Pokemon Obsidian Flames. But aside from that, I was more just collecting to collect because I liked the cards and it gave me a little nostalgia. And I was playing Pokemon with my cousin, so aside from that, some interesting things came around, especially in March. And I'm recording this sort of on the last day of March. It's the 29th. We've got 2 more days technically. But I kind of wanted to get this out of the way as we go into April, because that might be a little busier. But yeah. So I guess we'll start with kind of a unique item that I ended up getting. I found the Game Gear TV tuner. Right off the bat, something unique. I thought this is hilarious. It was only like $25, and I rarely ever see this thing, and this is something I always wanted as a kid for my Game Gear. I thought it was so cool you could just sit and watch TV on it. I'm not sure of any other handheld systems that you could really do that with. So I thought that was kind of a unique thing. I have no idea if I'll really use it or not. I don't even know if my city has like over-the-air broadcasting. I would assume they do. But yeah. And then we're going to jump into one thing everybody got. Xenoblade Chronicles X. I'm currently playing this. Yes, it is on Switch. But it'll probably be the only Switch game I play in some time. Hopefully. Maybe. Possibly. And then I jumped on this because I was browsing East Ireland, actually, of all places. And they had the PAL version of Minecraft. And I do have the North American version, the NTSC version of this, which was just the code in a box, basically, which is probably long expired already. So I figured, well, I might as well get a physical for it. So this does have it on cart with everything. So I went and grabbed that. I don't remember what number this is. I want to say it's 248. I'm sure my future self will tell me down below here, but I've kind of also decided that being there isn't a whole lot of other Vita games I'm interested in, I'm thinking by the time I reach 450 will be the end game for me. I'm still waiting for Nicalis to release theirs. We all know that they're kind of sitting on some, but they've recently taken it down from their website, and we haven't had any info since October about when the release date will be for 1001 Spikes, I think is what it was. But we also know that they are sitting on 2 other games at least as well. And without any further information from them other than it's coming soon, I was real annoying that back in, it was August, they were telling us, August, to wait for October, only to tell us to wait again. What's up with that? But yeah. So 450. You can also follow me on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it these days. Usually I post up when I do get my Vita games. I did not post the Minecraft yet. Probably be up there after I do this video. And I do have another one on the way too. That'll probably be sometime next month. So it's not the end of the Vita just yet for me, but it's coming. And I've given myself that cutoff. So Another one everybody probably picked up, Suikoden 1 and 2. I have a little bit of an interesting history on this. Way back in college, and this was back in 2002, I dated a girl who's still a really good friend of mine, and she was really big into the series, and she was looking for the second game. And I don't know what the second game is worth now these days, but I surprisingly found it at a GameStop, of all places, at a mall. And gifted it to her for Christmas or her birthday. I can't remember, but yeah, it was a series I always wanted to try, but never really got a chance to. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Another one, I've been on a Virtual Fighter kick lately, so I've been going around and kind of picking them up. I think the last video I did, I picked up Virtual Fighter 4. But I grabbed Virtual Fighter 2 on the Sega Genesis Complete. And I think the only one left for NTSC that I'm probably missing, which I probably will hunt for next weekend during Midwest Gaming Classic, and that'll be Virtual Fighter on the 32X. At least that's my goal I'm setting for myself. Because the only other game I'm still looking for is the jewel case version of the original Darkstalkers on PlayStation. I think those two would be my only goals for Midwest Gaming Classic this year, for sure. Anything else, I mean, if I do find some imported Vita games that interest me, sure, that'll just push me closer towards the 450. Another unique one that, so I'm also part of a arcade Discord, and I keep seeing people buy these little mini arcade cabinets, like 100% official metal steel arcade cabinets by Sega. And they were used mostly for card games. So you would play a battle card game on screen and it would give you trading cards. And they released one of them on the DS, Dinosaur King. So I thought it was kind of unique. I was like, oh, they actually released a handheld version of a arcade game. So this, of course, doesn't come with a trading card or anything like that, sadly. Be really cool if I could ever find something like those, but physical just as a memento. But yeah, it was kind of unique. So I was like, okay, cool. I guess I'll grab it. It's not a very common game, and especially the cabinets, because I've looked at people who have actually modified them to turn them into JAMA cabinets for like older games. Because the screen is like a little, I think it's only like an 11-inch screen, or maybe a 12-inch screen. And it was designed, they had like the card shoot in the middle, and then it just had two big buttons. And people have actually been making, there's a guy who actually makes custom stick and button panels for it. So you could turn it into like a one-player game. And when I was back in Florida, and I wish I would have taken a picture of it, they actually had one of those Dinosaur King cabinets modified for a one-player arcade game, which was really neat. I'm not sure what I would ever do with it. I'd probably just use it for a single-player game of some sort, but I don't really have any single-player JAMA games aside from Raiden Fighters 2. But even then, I don't know if I would put it in that cabinet because you want it in Tate mode. So, sorry, going on a tangent about arcade games. It's been a while. Matt and I actually took a weekend or a day, and we went up and saw Tiger Chainsaw. And we went game hunting. He took us to this really cool little place that didn't seem like a lot of people went there for game hunting. They had some really decent prices and some games that I have never really seen in the wild. So one of them I ended up grabbing was the original Dead or Alive on PlayStation. Funny enough. Mostly so I could compare it to the Saturn version of Dead or Alive. I don't remember if this one had some different, I think, so it says, only on PlayStation game console, more characters, hot new costumes, and radical new moves. So I'm not sure what the difference is. Maybe somebody could tell me in the comments. I'm not sure, but I think it has different stuff in it than the Saturn version did. Not really a game, but game related. Ended up picking up the original soundtrack for Sonic and Shadow Generations, just because I really dug it. I was thinking it was only a single CD. No, this is a thick boy. So there's probably 2 CDs worth in this thing. I just dug the music from Sonic Generations, and this supposedly covers both the original and the Shadow side. So yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. Let's pick that up. And then another oddity here. Again, not a game. This is Arcade Gamer Fubuki. And I saw this on random thing somebody posted on X about how this particular one is about a girl who goes through and decides to enter the arcade scene and battle it out with players. I mean, it gets very dramatic. There's one point where she battles a dinosaur, and the game they happen to be playing is Fighting Vipers 2. And it's like legit video from the game, which I thought was crazy. So I was like, I kind of want to get that just to experience that. But it's like a whole episode kind of based around, because I guess it was around the time that Fighting Vipers 2 was coming out. And this is in English. So I just thought it was interesting. And the fact that it's a screenwriter of Cowboy Bebop. So I have yet to watch this. Found it on eBay. So it was like super cheap. I figured, why not? Then I picked up a Dreamcast homebrew called The Storied Sword, which is kind of like almost a point-and-click adventure game, in a sense, side-scrolling. Almost like a Zelda 2 type thing. So, yeah, something unique to try out. And then, of course, a Vita game on PlayStation 5, Freedom Wars Remastered. Since they closed down the servers on the Vita version and they rolled out the console version, I have heard people say that it just didn't feel the same as the Vita version. They changed a little bit of the gameplay. There was some quality of life changes that they did do to it. But overall, they said the Vita version is still the way to go. It's just, if you want to play it online, you have to play it on the PS5. And that was an import from PlayAsia, I believe, is where I got that. And this one, just to kind of round out my collection, this is another game that we never got here in the West. It was arcade only. We did get a version of it on Steam. This is Blade Arcus Rebellion on the PlayStation 4. And this game in particular is a bunch of characters from the Shining series. And then this edition, I think this is the final version that they released for console, has the characters from Shining Resonance that was on the PS4 and Xbox 360. So and it's kind of a blocky. Well, I wouldn't say blocky, but more of it's very choppy, very stiff. If you've ever played like the Rumblefish, it plays very much like that, just with the characters from the Shining games. But I don't know why Sega never really brought this over here to the consoles in the West, aside from getting it on Steam. But if you're interested, the Steam one is usually on sale and pretty cheap, so it might be worth checking out. It's just your basic, generic, one-on-one fighter. Then I picked this guy up, and I have to say, there's good and bad about it. So this is a wireless fight pad for the Dreamcast, the D6. And it's using Bluetooth. There's actually another adapter that plugs into the Dreamcast that has a slot for your VMU. It only takes one VMU. And it's based around the ASCII fight pad that Japan got. We never got it over here, but generally in the top here is where the VMU would slide into that version. And this has micro switches. So it has like really clicky buttons, which feel great, and I loved it. I actually ended up streaming a little bit some Street Fighter on Dreamcast with this controller. My only complaint is the D-pad. It's very stiff and it doesn't hit diagonals very well. So it's no different really than the original D-pad on the Dreamcast control pad, which I was really hoping for more of a D-pad that was Saturn based. Would have really rounded this off nicely. This also works on Switch for whatever reason, so it actually has the USB-C dongle and all that stuff for that. So low latency. I mean, it works well. Don't get me wrong. There was some delay I felt in the controller playing Street Fighter, but otherwise, overall, it worked well. If you can get past the D-pad, I had a lot of problems like throwing out fireballs and doing my Shoryukens. I couldn't get those out on that pad. But otherwise, yeah, pretty good. Then I ended up snagging, because they were on sale. I don't remember if I showed these off in the last video, but some of the SD cards for Sonic were being clearanced or on sale or something. So I grabbed the 256 and the 512 one of Sonic and Tails. Now the only problem is I'll probably never open them just because of that fact. But yeah, I thought they were cool, so why not? More Sonic memorabilia for my little cabinet in the back here. And lastly, of course, and I already played through this. I got the special edition of Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. I really liked this game. If you enjoy pirates and ship battles and Yakuza, it's definitely up your alley. It doesn't really play into the canon games too much, except for the ending, which really doesn't give us much. But I do recommend if you're into Yakuza and you like a basic beat 'em up with pirates, it's definitely a good game. This came with like a large button, an eye patch, and I can't remember what else. Doesn't even say in the back. I think a flag. Yeah, a flag with the Yakuza sign on it. But yeah, get it whatever your choice of console is, if you can, and you're into the Yakuza series, or Like a Dragon, as it's now called. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the last 2 months. Not much else going on. So again, Midwest Gaming Classic, I'll be there with Matt, hanging out Saturday only is when we're going to be there. We'll probably be hanging out with, Chris Pico and some of the other guys around there. But yeah, if you happen to see us walking around, stop us and say hi. We're just there to kind of enjoy ourselves. So that's it. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.